They say the time of heroes is over. That if you're different, you're dangerous. But I know the truth. The world will always need heroes. We just need to reassemble.
Recently, I was lucky enough to be given a beta code for Marvel's Avengers from Square Enix. Being a ridiculous Marvel nerd, I was initially very excited for this. I mean, it's coming off the back of Infinity War and Endgame, as well as Insomniac's Spider-Man for PS4, which was personally one of my favourite games of 2018. The hype was real. However, that excitement quickly changed to trepidation as the game design and teaser trailer dropped. Everything looked a little flat and not at all like something that was meant to represent these amazing, vibrant, colourful characters that have existed for 60 odd years and would leap off the page with something like Steve Ditko's art. It was like someone had taken a straw to these characters and just sucked all their charisma out. With the hints that Marvel's Avengers would be less of a narrative-driven game akin to Spider-Man or the Arkham series, and leaning more towards the games as service template like an Anthem or Destiny, that trepidation was now a flat-out worry. So when I loaded up the beta, I could see straight away that these poorly received character designs had not been changed. They stayed blank and expressionless, like pretty much how you feel after watching some of DC's recent cinematic output. Except Birds of Prey, that was awesome. Also, shout out to how excited I am for Rocksteady's Suicide Squad. Anywho, the opening of the game is pretty much what we saw in the trailers. You get to play as Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Iron Man and Cap. And much like the way the game looks, the combat feels bleh. It's not terrible, but it certainly doesn't have the fluidity of something like Spider-Man or Batman. Each character has a basic light or heavy attack as well as specials, and they do, to be fair, feel unique for each character. So Cap can throw his shield around, and Thor can launch Mjolnir places, Hulk does his Hulk smash thing. The opening finishes with a disappointing boss battle, I guess, against Taskmaster, and we're suddenly thrown 5 years into the future after the Avengers failed to stop a bomb. Cap is dead, Iron Man is missing, and the Avengers have been completely disbanded, replaced by notorious science boys from the comics, AIM. It's worth noting here that upon release, the opening of the game may be slightly different. It felt a little jarring going from a really quick opening tutorial level to just being thrown straight into the future and having all this information thrown at you, but that could change. Here is where we get to actually my favourite part of the beta, getting to play a level as Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and the Hulk. This level gave me a bit of hope as I really enjoyed smashing literally everything as the Hulk and getting to be Miss Marvel and use all of her powers. In Biggin! If you haven't read G. Willow Wilson's run on Miss Marvel, I cannot recommend it highly enough. It's some of my favourite stuff, just go and read it. My renewed enthusiasm didn't last long, however, as those who were watching my Twitch stream at the time can attest to. Rather than a vibrant open world you can explore as your favourite Avenger, it seems like we're going to be stuck on a helicarrier, jumping into missions, possibly again and again to get more loot and upgrades, and it feels like this is going to be the grindfest of all grindfests. Don't get me started on the amount of times I had to say nanites and nodes. Those words just lost all meaning to me after the 5 or so hours I played the game. And the issues and worries I had coming into Marvel's Avengers, they just continue to build. The character design is poor, the gameplay, it feels flat and dull after just a few hours, the constant grind to find loot for upgrades, the fact that Square Enix think nameplates are a fun thing to unlock, but perhaps most worrying of all is the way that it feels like this has been tailor-made for loot boxes and battle passes. Spider-Man and the Arkham games were beautifully crafted worlds made by people who not only seemed to get the characters but cared about them too, and those worlds felt vibrant and lived in, whereas every level I visited in Marvel's Avengers just felt empty. Right now, Marvel's Avengers feels like a cheap attempt at a cash grab for one of the most popular franchises going, and I think that's the most damning thing I can say about it. On the bright side, it made me want to go and read all my favourite Avengers comics again, so that's something. But with very little time until release, it seems unlikely much will change, and that we may have another Anthem on our hands that could survive on name basis alone. It's such a shame. This is not what I wanted from an Avengers game. And I honestly think us as fans of comic and film and games, we deserve better than something like this.